What's going on, YouTube? We're back with another video today, another tier list. Today we will be doing running backs, and just be expecting most positions, if not all, coming within the next few weeks before the season starts. If you're interested in seeing those, getting my opinion, make sure to subscribe. So for running backs today, we will be ranking them based on production, not raw talent. So if you see a guy be placed below average, that's really good, but he's injury prone or has to split attempts with another really talented running back, then that's why he's there. It's not because I don't think he's good. So just a heads up for that. So let's get into it. First off, we have Damien Harris, who I'm a believer in him. He hasn't really proved too much yet. I think he's going to be taking over that one spot over. It feels like he already has, but I think that he'll for sure be taking many more reps than Sony Michelle. I still am going to put him in below average just because it's kind of uncertain. I don't think he's going to rush for near 1,000 yards. Maybe he gets like 700 at most, but I don't know. He's good. He's got the talent. Melvin Gordon, he's kind of been stuck in a weird spot being on the Broncos. I think they don't really utilize him like they should. I think Javonte Williams, he'll have to split reps with him. So I'll still throw him in an average. I think he'll probably be hovering around that high triple digits, maybe almost 1,000, but not quite. He'll be in there. But he's got the talent. He puts up efficient numbers. He's just not on a team that he fits, in my opinion. Alvin Kamara, he will be our first S. We know he's elite. Very versatile, very agile. He's probably the second best receiving running combo back after CMC, and I'm not sure if he'll produce more with Winston, but he'll keep producing at the top 5 level for sure, and he's definitely, he could be top 3, but top 5 for sure is a safe argument. Joe Mixon, he only played a few games last year, and he's been kind of underwhelming for how talented he is. I know that the line gets blamed a lot for that. I think that if he was elite, that he would still be able to produce very good numbers if he was an elite running back. He doesn't have Giovanni Bernard anymore. I think I'll throw him in above average. I don't think he's borderline elite. He's definitely going to be better than everyone in average. He'll probably be at the top end of guys in the above average column. But he's got the talent. Hopefully he'll stay healthy this year. Carson, he's got another guy kind of like Joe Mixon, except he wasn't injured that much, but he does have a little injury concern. He's meant to be kind of a bell cow type back, rush for 20, 25 attempts a game, wear the defense down. Seattle they haven't been doing that. I think they might gear towards that this year, which would be good. I do think that he'll put above average numbers this year. And he usually does. He's a top 10 back, I would say. He'll probably be at the high end also in the above average. Myles Gaskin. This guy was kind of a fantasy sleeper last year. Racked up a lot of yards. Good receiving back. It's hard to tell with Miami. Their offense is kind of a work in progress. Yeah, the Dolphins got Malcolm Brown. He's pretty underrated too. So I don't know. We'll see if they split reps. I think Malcolm Brown is more of a run between tackles type back more than Gaskin's more of a hybrid running receiving back. Computer is frozen. Okay, there we go. So I will put him in. Yeah, I don't think he's going to put up average numbers like he did last year now that they have Malcolm Brown. Last year they had Matt Breida. He got injured. He's on the Bills now, but they do have Malcolm Brown, and I think he's pretty talented too. Delvin Cook is another easy one. Elite. I don't think anybody would argue otherwise. He's got the talent. He's does everything pretty well, whether it's running outside, running between tackles, catching. He's great in the screen game. The one concern is health, but it keeps getting better every year. We don't know how the Vikings O-line will start off this year, but they usually are less concerning in the run game than pass rush protection, so hopefully they'll be okay at least. Delvin played 14 games last year, I believe, or he played more games at least than most of his career, so hopefully that continues to trend up. Yeah, him and Kamara are definitely a toss-up between the 2 and 3 spot, I'd say. Yeah, one is Derrick Henry in my opinion, but we'll talk about him later. Philip Lindsay, he is now on the Texans. I think that he is going to be in between below average and trash. Computer froze again, but he's better than David Johnson, I think, at this point. He usually puts up pretty good numbers. I just don't know if he'll produce anything much with the Texans. I don't know if defenses are going to be worrying about Tyrod Taylor passing, so maybe they'll focus a little more on the run, and then Johnson and Lindsay won't be able to do anything. I don't know. I think that I wouldn't trust Lindsay to put up probably even 500 yards. I'm just not excited about the Texans' offense. Antonio Gibson, for me, I think he'll probably be above average. He was pretty good last year. He put up great numbers. Very efficient. He has to split reps with J.D. McKissick, who isn't very good. He's much better than him. McKissick is way more of a receiving back. Gibson's more of their power back. He's above average, and now they'll have a serviceable quarterback at least. Last year it was kind of a carousel with Alex Smith and Hoskins and Kyle Allen. So maybe Gibson will get going a little bit more. Defenses will be more worried about Fitzpatrick than they were about their previous quarterbacks. So, yeah, I think he should produce pretty good numbers. J.K. Dobbins, he is pretty solid. the thing about the Ravens is, as a defense, you have so much to worry about. You have to worry about Lamar running, Lamar passing. Controversial if you don't think he's a good passer. He's at least good enough where you have to worry about it a little bit. And then his running skills, obviously, too. And then they also have Gus Edwards, too, who's another talented back. So it's kind of hard to know how much he'll produce, because he probably won't be getting 20, 25 reps a game. He'll probably be more in the mid-teens, low teens range, split evenly with Gus Edwards. But Dobbins is pretty good. I don't think I can put him in above average, even though he is talent-wise. We'll see what the Ravens do this year. Their running game worked for them perfectly last year. I don't think they need to rush anybody more than, minimal. Derrick Henry, it's the best back in the league. You can knock on him for not being a receiver and being a modern running back, but still put up more scrimmage yards than anybody last year. And he's a 2-time rushing yard champ. So I think it's kind of hard to dispute that he won't be that again next year. Or this season, I mean. The line's still there. They have to respect the passing game a little more now that Julio's there, which might open things up even more for him. So I think he'll go off again for definitely 1,500 plus yards, if not more. I'd be surprised if he's under 1,500. David Johnson, he's washed. He's also on a horrible team. There's not much to say. People the last 4 years maybe. Well, yeah, probably just the last 3. Everybody's been hoping that he would return to his one great year he had on the Cardinals, but hasn't happened. Injuries have happened. He's just not going to produce at even an average level anymore. Saquon, I'll put him in borderline elite. He does have a horrible O-line, but like I said, if you're an elite running back, you can still be great, even with a bad O-line. He's not elite anymore. Well, he could be elite, but I'm scared to put him in there just because of his injury history. So yeah, I'd be scared drafting him for fantasy. If he stays healthy, he should put up good numbers. I'm not a believer in the Giants, but maybe they can establish some type of offense, and then he'll go off for 1,000 yards at least, in my opinion, because of his talent and his skill set. But yeah, borderline elite. I'd probably say he's like a top 7 back now. He used to always be like in everybody's like top 3, but I don't know. When you don't put up good numbers for a few years, you drop down. Deandre Swift, I think that he will either be high-end average, bottom of the column, above average. We'll put him in high-end average for now. The Lions got rid of Kerryon Johnson. No more AP, I don't believe. So they did get Jamal Williams, who he's pretty good for an RB2. He's more of a big blocker, and Swift is the little agile guy, and I think that he should have a good year. The Lions they're starting to get a really good offensive line put together, and yeah, Swift's got the raw talent. He was a little questionable at the start of the year. I think that drop pass really got to him. But he kind of trended upward throughout the season, especially towards the end. I think that he could maybe be an 1,000-yard rusher. We'll see, though. Etienne, he's going in too early for sure. I think he'll split reps probably pretty evenly with James Washington. So, and then I don't think even if they had a true RB1 that they would produce that well, just because I think they're more focused on getting Trevor Lawrence ready. And they definitely want to be a pass-first team eventually down the road. So yeah, it's too early to tell, but I don't think he'll be putting up RB1 numbers. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think that he'll be about middle ground, average. I'll put him ahead of Dobbins just because he doesn't really have anybody to worry about splitting the reps evenly. Yeah, he came into last season super hyped. Everybody was saying that he was going to be top 5, maybe not top 5, but for sure top 10, top 8 maybe. And he did look pretty good, and then he just didn't produce that well. He struggled in the red zone. I don't think his agile style worked in the NFL. I think guys they were quick enough to get him. So hopefully they can figure out a way to utilize him this year. Yeah, I think he'll probably put up 800, 900 yards, maybe another 200 to 300 in receiving yards. He'll be okay, but just after last season. And then he was injured also towards the last few 5 or 6 games, I think it was. Yeah, so I'm pumping the brakes on him a little bit. I think most people are as well. Raheem Mostert, for me, he is average. He is very fast. He does explode randomly, and then he'll get like 150 yards in one game, and then the next 3 games he'll get like 150 yards total. So I think I don't know if it's the scheme or if he's inconsistent. And then also injury concern is always a big thing for him. They don't have Tevin Coleman anymore or J.D. McKissick. They did bring in a new rookie, so maybe he'll be splitting reps with him. I know the 49ers use a lot. They like to use a lot of running backs, but we'll see. I'm sure they brought that new guy in because of the injury concern. Yeah, but I think everyone's past believing in Mostert going ballistic and having like a 1,200-yard season or something. But he'll always have those games where he goes off. I do think David Montgomery is somebody that can explode this year. I'm not going to get too excited and put him in borderline elite, but I do think that the Bears are gearing towards running him more. I know that their line is very questionable, but I think that they're moving away from using them, Tariq Cohen and Montgomery. I think they're gearing a way of splitting them up evenly and trying to be creative and getting receiving plays to Cohen. And I think that Montgomery's going to be more your bell cow, getting 25 reps per game instead of high teens, which he was doing last year. and he's been pretty efficient. He's got the skill set. And nobody knows if it's gonna work. The Bears' offense, it'll work if they can get a passing game down. Hopefully Justin Fields can do that for them. It'll open a lot of things up for Montgomery. But yeah, too early to say if he's borderline elite. Zeke, this is obviously going to be controversial just since he had so much hype the last few years. He used to always be top 5 pick in fantasy. For me, he really declined a lot last year. I know that with Dak coming back, it'll open some things up, but I think that with the way that they're gearing their offense, it's going to be heavily passing first. They've got 3 of the best receivers, so they don't need to use Zeke a ton unless he's playing at an insane level like he was a few years ago, which could happen. You don't know. He did fumble a lot last year too. And then also Tony Pollard is a pretty solid backup, and I think that he'll be getting some more reps just to keep Zeke fresh. Zeke does have the talent. We all know that. I just think the production is going to go down. I'm expecting CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper to carry the offense more than Zeke now. Yeah. So, sorry. I know you Cowboys fans probably hate to see that. Based on production, that's where he belongs, in my opinion. Lenny, playoff Lenny. I don't know. He doesn't really light up the stat sheet too much. He is a good back. He did have some great runs in the playoffs. But yeah, I don't know. He's getting to, I think he's almost 30. I mean, he's still good. I just think that the Bucks have so many weapons, and I think that they're always going to have Jones be their RB1 since he's younger, and yeah, they're just going that direction. But he'll still have his moments, but he's not ever gonna be, at least on the Bucks, he's never gonna be the guy he was in Jacksonville. Chase Edmonds is a guy that I think is going into this year very underrated. They don't have Kenyon Drake anymore. Last year he was a receiving back. I don't even think he had 100 attempts throughout the whole year. And now this year he's battling with James Conner, which I think they'll go the direction of having Chase Edmonds be RB1. And then, yeah, they'll still probably use him as a receiver back sometimes too. So I think his production will be high this year. He's always put up efficient numbers. Yeah, I like Edmonds a lot. He's got a good skill set. He's better than James Conner, in my opinion. Josh Jacobs, I will also put in borderline elite. His production may go down just a tinge since they brought in Kenyon Drake. I don't think Kenyon Drake is all that great, but I do think the Raiders are trying to gear towards running the ball more, opening it up for Derek Carr. Not that they didn't last year, but I think they're trying to do even more so. Yeah, I think even though Drake's there, they'll continue to use him as very heavy, cowbellish back, 25 reps a game. But yeah, he's good. He's one of the better backs in the league for sure. He's definitely in the top 10, if not top 7. Ronald Jones, it's hard to say if he's average or below average. Like I said, I don't. It's kind of hard to put running back on the Bucs unless he's one of the best backs. It's kind of hard to put him anywhere above average. I mean, he'll produce fine numbers. I'm not too excited about him. And then also he's going to be splitting reps with Fournette, so he's not going to be an 1,000-yard rusher, I don't think, if I had to bet on it. So yeah, just average. CMC, for sure, elite. There's concern, but I think that, yeah, I think we can't move him out of elite just because of last year. But best receiver back in the league, for sure. He's going to put up 2,000 yards easily, scrimmage yards, if he's healthy. There's not too much you need to say. We'll see if he works well with Darnold. I think he should. I think he'll have a bounce back here for sure. Miles Sanders, he's, I don't know, I think he might even be a little below average this year. Eagles, they're questionable right now. They still have a decent offense. If Jalen Hurts ends up working out, I think people are questioning right now how well it'll work. Sanders, he puts up pretty good numbers. He gets you a decent amount of receiving yards as well. I think the Eagles do have hope in Kerryon Johnson. He's not on the list anywhere, but Kerryon Johnson, they bring him in. He's still very young. Didn't work out in Detroit. Had a lot of injury concern, but I don't know. Maybe a new place will help him. But anyways, I think that brings down Sanders' production. He'll still pop off randomly like he does, and then be kind of a dud. But even more this year, it's harder to say just because the Eagles just got a lot worse. Yeah, below average for me. James Robinson, I think that it's kind of hard to tell with him. I think it's kind of hard to put him there since he had 1,000 yards last year and he was pretty good. But like I said, they want Trevor Lawrence to be that guy. They're going to be passing it a lot, just trying out different things. I don't think they're going to be as concerned as they were last year. Last year they almost had to just rely on Robinson because they didn't really have much of a passing game. And then also he's got to split reps with ETN now. So, yeah, below average production. Not a bad back by any means, but he's just... Their future is not... Well, it could be him if ETN sucks, but I think they're worried about him and Lawrence and not James Robinson. I believe this is Singletary. Yeah. He could be even... Yeah, I'll put him in below average. I don't know. The Bills, they don't really have their guy as an RB1. They wanted it to be Singletary, but it's not. He put up fine numbers, but they just... I don't know. I don't think defenses cared much about stopping him. I think if Singletary was on a team that was run first, I don't think he would do very well. I think the numbers are a little inflated due to defenses knowing that the Bills are almost all passing. And maybe they will try to get their running game set in stone a little more this year. whether it's Singletary or Moss, and then they brought in Matt Breida too. Maybe they'll test run him. But yeah, there's no chance I'm putting in any Bills running back as average production because there's just too many questions right now. Kareem Hunt, I would love to put him in borderline elite, but he is talent-wise for sure. But production, he's an RB2 behind Nick Chubb. He's still going to rack up tons of receiving yards, tons of rushing yards as well. Yeah. He is probably still like a top 8, top 7 back. Too bad he's RB2. I mean, can't really say it wasn't his fault since, he had that incident, which, got him out of his good situation he had with the Chiefs. But, at least he's came back and has been productive for the Browns. And yeah, I think he'll be an RB1, like fantasy-wise, probably still, which is crazy. But the Browns just have such a powerhouse offense this year that he's going to put up above average numbers, better than plenty of RB1s for sure. Mike Davis, he's a tough one too. I'll put him at he'll be better than most of these guys, I believe. He's in a better scheme this year, being on the Falcons. I'm assuming he's probably going to be the RB1 there. And then also, it's more of a, smash the running game down your throat type offense than the Panthers. And yeah, last year they didn't really have anybody. I think Todd Gurley was a project, a science project that not most people didn't believe was going to turn out well. But yeah, it didn't. He's not back with the team now. They got Mike Davis. Yeah, I don't think he'll be too crazy, but maybe he'll put up some decent stats. He wasn't too bad last year in Carolina. Jonathan Taylor, I think that people are hyping him up a little bit too much production-wise because I think a lot of people are forgetting about Marlon Mack. I think Mack is a pretty solid RB2. Everybody does look good behind that O-line, kind of like the Browns. They always are getting massive holes to run down. So yeah, I think that I'm still going to put him. I'm going to put him like the highest end of. Well, I think that David Montgomery will be more productive than both these guys. I think Chris Carson will be too. But Jonathan Taylor, they're going to run the game. They're going to run the ball a lot, especially while Wentz is out. They'll probably split reps. I think it'll be 70-30, 75-20%, 75-25% Taylor to Mack, unless Mack just comes back and looks amazing, which he could, but we don't know. But people are forgetting about Mack. Sony Michelle, Peter's frozen again. He'll be going in trash. I think that his time's done. Even though he's young, he'd just get Chubb out of there. I think they're going in the Damien Harris direction. Yeah, I mean, he's had his moments in the playoffs, but he never really did a whole lot. I think James White is more serviceable just for his receiving skills, and then I think that Damien Harris is better for running, so I think he's going to get kind of weeded out. Maybe he'll be like a 2B 2A type guy, but they don't really need him. I think he's going to have an underwhelming year. Aaron Jones, he is another borderline elite for me. I think that he's always around, that 6th, 7th range. But I think this year his production might even go up a little more now that Jamal Williams is gone. Dillon is now their RB2 instead of Williams, and Williams is more of a versatile back, whereas Dillon is just straight cowbell, just running right up the middle. And so I think that Jones' numbers will go up. I think they'll get him involved more on screens and receiving, and then he'll probably put up just as good as numbers rushing. I'm not sure how sold they are now on A.J. Dillon. I do think Dillon has the potential to be a great backup. Maybe wide receiver 1, even though you don't really see those types of backs anymore. Just giant cowbell type backs. But we'll see. I'm very bullish on Aaron Jones improving his numbers this year. I think I'll put him above Saquon, actually. I think that he's a safer bet to produce more than Saquon. Zach Moss, he's not really the guy either. He's a little more... He's not as versatile, agile as Singletary. He's more of, just running between the tackles. Strong back. I don't know. I just don't think either Singletary or Moss are the answer. I really don't think Breida is either. I'm not sure if it's a scheme issue, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the Bills can figure out their running back situation, because I think they could win a Super Bowl if they did. Austin Eckler, I'll put him above average. He always is putting up very good numbers in fantasy. Great receiving back. He might honestly be better. Well, he's not better than Kamara, but I feel like he gets just as many reps and receiving yards as Kamara. But yeah, definitely interchangeable, top 2 or 3 between him and Kamara for the top receiving backs. He's never gonna get you a lot of rushing yards. He's probably never gonna be an 1,000-yard rusher. But yeah, I'd also put him in above average just because his skill set. He'll give you mid-teen rushing attempts, so he's never gonna go off for 25 reps and 130 rushing yards. He's not that type of player, but still above average back. Cam Akers, so he's hurt. He's done for the year. They do have Darrell Henderson now, who he's also too early to tell. I think Cam Akers would have been good this year. I think he would have been productive. They don't have Malcolm Brown anymore. Darrell Henderson's not bad, but he's a question mark as well. Yeah, if Darrell Henderson was on here, you would go in too early as well. So just pretend that's him. I think the Rams they're gearing towards having a run game to open things up for Stafford. Yeah, I don't know. People are talking about them picking up Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell has kind of been... It's had a lot of personality concerns. The whole Chiefs fallout. But yeah, Darrell Henderson, he'll be okay. We'll see how they're... I would have been a lot more confident with Cam Akers. I think most people would be than Darrell Henderson, but maybe it'll work out. Nick Chubb, pretty easy S. Probably second best straight bell cow running back after Henry. I think both of them are in a league of their own when it comes to those types of running backs. Saquon should be, if he could stay healthy. Chubb was out for a few games, still put up insane numbers, insane yards per attempt. Does have a great O-line, but I still think he would be elite on most teams. And then finally, Najee Harris. He's too early to tell. I think he'll probably be the most productive of any rookie. But, yeah, the Steelers have pretty horrible O-line, and they haven't had a good running game since Le'Veon Bell. But, yeah, I think he'll be okay. I think they'll be passing it, mostly. But we'll see. I think he'll probably be the best rookie running back or Javonte Williams. But yeah, it's hard. I think it's easier to pick him. So guys that are missing, I don't see any Jets running backs. I believe they have Michael Carter and Tevin Coleman are the people competing for that RB1 spot. I think I would probably put Tevin Coleman somewhere along here. I don't think he'd be very productive, and then I would have put Michael Carter in too early. And Gus Edwards, he also wasn't pictured, even though him and Dobbins are kind of 1A, 1B. He probably would have gone maybe high end. I think that Dobbins is definitely the 1A. They still utilize Edwards a lot. I think he would be maybe even end of average, definitely top of below average. They did not include Jamal Williams either. Even though obviously Swift is going to be... They didn't really put any RB2s in there besides the really good ones like Kareem Hunt. I don't know if... He's probably one of the better twos, but Fournette. And then I think they put Moss and then Etienne in there just because it's a toss-up of who's going to be that RB1. But yeah, Jamal Williams, I don't think he'll do a whole lot. Maybe they'll get him involved with the receiving game. He probably would have gone in below average. I don't think I'm missing anybody else. Looking back at it, is there anything I would change? No, probably not. Maybe put one of these guys. Probably not Jonathan Taylor, just because I like Marlon Mack. Put one of these guys maybe over here. Because, I think I'd be willing to take a chance on these guys being just as good as Josh Jacobs and Saquon, just solely due to his health concerns for Saquon. And then, people are going to have a problem with where I put Zeke. I think that's just where the Cowboys are gearing towards is split more reps. Zeke will be the RB1, but, maybe 70-30, him and Pollard, and then throw the ball a ton, get Dak, well over 300 yards a game, and then not have as many running back reps. So I think production-wise, that's where Zeke belongs. I think that's the only real controversial one. Do like Chase Edmonds a lot. That one might be weird for a lot of people, but I think that he has a really good skill set, and now that he doesn't have to deal with Kenyon Drake being the RB1, I think he'll be a lot more productive. Yeah, I guess I don't have Kenyon Drake on here either. He's another one that, like, he's not going to get nearly as many reps as Josh Jacobs, but he's better than a lot of these guys. He's better than probably all these guys. Definitely all these guys. A lot of these guys. But he'd still probably going below average just because he's on the Raiders with Josh Jacobs. Yeah. I think that's about all I need to cover. If there's any running backs that I forgot, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah, I don't think... You might think that this list is controversial. I don't think so. But yeah, we'll be coming out with more tier lists. Be on the lookout. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.